Bible, Proverbs 14:30, envy rottens the bones. Why is it so bad to harbor a jealous, envious spirit? Like, you know, that can, whoever have that spirit, that can bring you down. Like, you want your bones to be rotten?
Relationships are settling, and you guys are doing the same thing in the friendships, and your friend is jealous of you. She doesn't really like you like that. She may love you, but she doesn't like you, but you're keeping her around because you've known her for years, or you want somebody to go on vacation with, or you want someone to get cute with and take pictures with and go hang out with, but you are uncomfortable around her.
We talk about the sister code and friendship. Just because a woman don't have no friends don't mean something wrong with that woman. It means the truth is keeping friendships with women can be extremely difficult. It's a lot of jealousy, it's a lot of envy, it's a lot of manipulation and ugliness. I need to really start having real conversations with each other about the negative behaviors of women instead of sitting around talking about men all of the time, how men do this and men do that. Let's keep it a buck with one another. Women do a lot of low down dirty shit too, to each other.
5 reasons why you are better off without friends, child. All right, boom. Number one, this is the number one reason why you are better off without friends. Number one is you no longer have to deal with fake vibes and bad energy. Comment below if you used to have friends, you guys were so cool, you guys were inseparable, and then out of nowhere, they started acting funny. Yeah. You know, maybe you got a new job, you got promoted, things in your life are going really good, but things in their life are not really going good, you know, and you feel like they're kind of low-key hating because when you, some of them good things, you know, they brush it off or they don't really say much, and the next thing you know it, you guys used to do everything together, now they're blowing plans on you, and then when you get around your other mutual friends is giving you weird vibes and weird energy too. If you get around mutual friends of yours and they act like that, guess what? There is conversations that's being had behind your back, okay? And I feel like a lot of the times we get hurt in our friendships because we don't let these type of people go. We let them go after the fact, okay? Stop getting burned by your friend. So many times you're like, well, that's my girl, you know, friends have arguments. Yeah, friends have arguments, but they get over it. If you had an argument and you guys, you know, had a little fallout, but you guys get right back, but the connection's not the same and you feel like she's still giving you that weird energy, trust and believe, your close friend that you call best friend is really your undercover hater and a close enemy. You gotta be careful. So many girls lose their life from getting set up. So many girls go through heartbreak like, oh my God, my best friend took my man. Well, why didn't you pay attention to the instincts that God gives us? God gives us instincts for a reason. Trust your gut.
Shalom. Come closer. I am going to move this chair where it belongs over there. But I have made this my little setup lately because my wall is like missing a piece of art. But I'm going to end up taking this and putting it over there once I fix that. And have a new setup. So yeah, that's why this looks like a door. It's not a door, but it's the, well, it is a door, but the door's in my closet. But I'll change that sooner than later. Anyways, I hope you guys are good. It is the holiday season. I don't do Christmas, but I do Hanukkah. And yeah, hopefully everybody is mentally first and foremost, spiritually okay during this time, not letting society eat them up with pressure for the holidays to, you know, make the holidays about buying things, but you know, more so about loved ones and self-care and self-love, if that's all you have. But anyways, let's get to the point. I have saved this topic for last for multiple reasons. One, it absolutely can be the root cause to trigger all of the other spirits. So I talked about familiar spirits, monitoring spirits, and spiritual vampires. Maybe not so much spiritual vampires, but that too. Spiritual vampires could be the ones to have jealousy, envious energy spirit. But energies and jealous spirit can absolutely easily either utilize a familiar spirit or become a monitoring spirit. So I mentioned multiple times, they all tie together. These, you know, 4 topics I've been talking about. I related it or paralleled it, whatever you want to call it, to the trending Paloma Morales story, because it, you know, it was brought to my attention and it absolutely relates to this. I am, you know, not by any means trying to voice what I believe is the truth in that story, but I did see some relations to characteristics, and all of these topics I'm talking about, I absolutely want to point out the characteristics, what to look out for, how to defeat it, and how to deal with it on a day-to-day, how to not let it, bring you down or consume you, understanding all of that good stuff. These were things that I felt personally, I never knew. I always knew something, was awkward, something was wrong, something wasn't right. Most of the time people try to make it seem like, oh, you tripping, or ain't nobody worrying about you, or yada yada yada, where that was far from the truth. And for anyone else out there who have that gut feeling that some type of ill will spirit is out there, I made these videos to share while I also am learning this information, or have literally just learned this information, just sharing it. So hopefully I can make someone else's life easier than mine was, especially in my early ages, where these things were not pointed out to me. Like, you grow up, people used to always say don't rush to get grown, but they never explain why. And the why is the stress that comes along besides the bills, but what comes along with the workforce, what comes along with learning human beings, like the wickedness in this world. All of that was not literally taught to me when I was younger. So I want to be that person to contribute, because I know there's many others out there, but that person to pull the strings together and connect the dots and put the pieces of the puzzle together, not only in general, but holistically, mind, body, soul, spirit, with the Most High. And yeah, so my last topic, and don't mind me, I have my tissue for backup just in case, because baby, this topic is absolutely it absolutely relates to my life. It may hit home, so just in case I get a little emotional, I got my tissue. But this topic is about jealous and envious spirits. First and foremost, I'm gonna go over the definition, the spiritual definition, the spiritual examples, today's examples, well, some of very minimum of today's examples, some signs and symptoms, the host, who would be people that jealous, envious spirits target, their purpose of targeting, some proverbs, how horrible and dangerous it is, some commandments against being a jealous, envious, and hateful spirits, some proverbs not to envy the wicked. So, not to even want to covet what others have as a righteous person. Some solutions, and then some prayers against haters. Just a little background about myself. I am one of those people who choose and prefer to just be solo dolo, because I prefer genuine people. I'm a genuine person, and I feel like I deserve that. I deserve what I am. I've had people tell me, oh, you should just accept people for who you are. No, I'm not going to accept a hater who would sabotage me for who they are, because that's who they are. Like, no, either you need to heal yourself and become better, or I'm not about to deal with you. Oh, here's another thing. I may curse during this, since this gonna hit home so much for me and be so, emotional and passionate to my experiences in life throughout my entire life. I probably cursed a whole lot. My definition of cursing is based on scriptural definition of cursing. When you look in the Strong's Concordance of what cursing is wishing someone would die, wishing someone would fall down the stairs, wishing someone would never find a husband. That's cursing someone. The Most High say do not curse someone. Cursing is to hex someone, to put a curse on their well-being, their life, their success, whatever. These words that we use today as curse words didn't even exist in ancient times. So sidebar that I definitely may slip up and get real right quick, because this is definitely a passionate topic. And yeah, anyway, so jealous and envious spirits. Definition: envy, because they're two different things. Envy, desire for something someone else has, whether that's wealth, status, qualities, whatever, which can resolve to resentment. Jealousy, a fear of losing someone you have to someone else. Relationships, position, status, whatnot. It can involve resentment, suspicion, overprotectiveness, all of that. They both can lead to hate, or coveting, can lead to both grudge or slander. Let me give some examples to tie it all together. Clearly, enviousness and jealousy is two different things. If someone, a lot of people use jealousy just in general, and envious is not typically a common word we use, but jealousy would be, the jealous boyfriend, the jealous wife, the jealous classmate, the jealous co-worker of another co-worker coming on, getting more attention. A jealous person in the worship home that, once upon a time one person was the favorite, and then a new person came along and they found that the leader is loving on that person, and so now the person who's been there is now getting jealous. This was literally my experience as well. That's jealousy, fearing you're gonna lose your status because of someone else is coming along, which may not even be the case. Like, some people, like, love can go all around, but in their sick mind they're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm losing my spot. Versus envy, you never even had this position, you never even had what I had, but you feel some type of way I have it because you want it, but you can't get it, or you don't have it. So the biblical meaning, H7065 is the Strong's definition: to be jealous by provoke, or zealous in a bad way. And 7068, jealousy, zeal. Coveting leads to envy, to delight in greatly, to desire, lust for delectable things. Exodus 20:17, do not covet your neighbor's wife, man, maid, servant, ox, ass, nor anything of your neighbor. So I knew somebody who I definitely seen, and I always struggled with my relationship with them because I seen that they were a coveting person. And I always personally felt like, they were the type of person who looked at others and they wanted what others have. And, then from that, they literally treated their partner a certain way because, their partner reminded them that they were not what they wanted. And even with me, my experiences with them and what they wanted from me, they weren't, getting. And then they also were jealous towards, who I dealt with. Like, it was too much. So I was just like, I can't be friends with a person like that. Like, once I get married, it's like, how I'm even gonna be friends with you knowing that you literally want somebody that you don't have, and we're not going to, with friends, we're not going to work in that way. Like, I can't. Jealous, envious spirits in scripture. So there's several. Cain and Abel, Sarah and Hagar, who I'm going to start with. Genesis chapter 4, verse 3. Cain made his offering, fruit of the ground. Verse 4. Abel brought the firstlings of his flock. Verse 5. The Most High respected Abel's, but not Cain's, and that upset Cain. Verse 8. Cain killed Abel. Verse 12. Cain was a vagabond and a fugitive. That was his punishment. So even to this day, like, you know, and I'm pointing out the things, like, this is not, nothing is new under the sun. Like, this is not new, but we still suffer from things like this today. Like, you know, men, women, both, men on women, women on men, and then men on men, you know, brethren, and then sisters on sistrens. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, people be jealous of, you know, opposite sex or the same sex, to the point where, you know, the worst case scenario would be to be so jealous or envious of someone that they kill them. But just like energy in spiritual vampires, or even monitoring spirits, there's levels, and it may not be as strong as murder, but still the lesser levels of jealousy and envious, personally, I still don't want to deal with that if I have chosen. But anyways, Hagar and Sarah, Genesis 16, verse 2. Sarah told Abram to go into Hagar, and Abram hearkened. Verse 4. Once she conceived, her mistress Sarah was despised in her eyes. So Hagar despised her mistress. Verse 5. Sarah regrets her decision. Sarah was hard, so because of that. So even with this, sometimes they cause people to get out of their character because of their action. So, you know, me personally, why I choose not to deal with, you know, jealous, envious spirits, because you're going to cause me to come out of my, you know, righteousness, or come out of my character because of your character. No, I'm not about to ignore it, and I'm not going to put myself in danger. But anyways, so verse 6, Sarah was hard on Hagar, so hard on Hagar, so Hagar left. But verse 15, she returned after she didn't had her revelation with the Most High. She bare Ishmael at the age of Abram 86. Chapter 21, verse 5. Abram was 100, Yish was 14 when Isaac was born. Verse 9. Sarah caught Ishmael mocking Isaac. They did not specify when Isaac was weaned, but give or take between 1 and 4 years old. Ish had to be between 15 and 18. Strong's Concordance definition of mock 6711, in the negative sense, to ridicule or laugh at someone. So clearly he was making fun of Isaac. Verse 12, the Most High told Abram to hearken to Sarah and cast them both out, because Sarah was sick of it and she wanted to get rid of both of them. So I would imagine it's been going on. Okay, so another example was Esau and Jacob. In Genesis chapter 25, verse 30 through 34, Esau stole Jacob his birthright for food. Chapter 27 through 34, Esau cried and was bitter towards Jacob. Verse 36, He took away my out of jealousy he cried out, saying he took away my birthright and blessing. Verse 41, Esau hated Jacob for his blessing and told himself after he finished mourning his father he would kill Jacob. Verse 42, so here's another brother wanting to kill his own brother over jealousy. Verse 42 through chapter 29, verse 5, Rebekah heard and told Jacob to flee, and Jacob did so. So chapter 33, verse 4, Esau embraced him. So after all those years passed by, later on, they reunited, and Esau actually embraced Jacob, and they end up burying their father together by chapter 35, verse 28. So thankfully it was not another Cain and Abel situation. Esau was able to be big enough to get over it. Okay, my other example was Leah and Rachel. Genesis chapter 29, verse 17 through 28. Leah was tender-eyed. So the meaning of that in Strong's Concordance is soft, delicate, and tender. That's Strong's Concordance 7390. Rock, R-A-S-K, probably not saying it right, Rick. But Rachel was beautiful and favored. So they weren't saying that Leah was ugly. Someone who's soft and delicate is pretty, and tender, that's pretty. However, Rachel was more beautiful in the eyes of Jacob. He was tricked, and he had to work 14 years in total for Rachel. Laban gave Leah Zilpah, and he gave Rachel Bilhah as handmaids. Verse 31, the Most High saw Leah was hated and opened her womb, and Rachel was barren. Verse 32 to 35, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah was born. Chapter 30, verse 1, Rachel envied Leah. Verse 3 through 8, she told him to go into Bala, her handmaid, to have her child. We know back then, if the handmaid, which would I guess be the same as a servant or slave, if they had the woman's child, then that child would technically be theirs, or their owners, the man or woman, their child would be theirs. And so she ended up having Dan and Naphtali. Chapter 30, verse 9, Leah noticed she stopped bearing, so she gave Jacob her handmaid. So now they tit for tatten. Zilpah to bear Gad and Asher. Verse 14 through 21, Reuben got Leah mandrakes. Rachel asked for some, and Leah was like, don't you got the husband? Because she was the favorite. Now you want my son's mandrakes too? Rachel told Leah she can have Jacob for the night for the mandrakes, and he slept with Leah that night, and she got pregnant for the 5th time with Asher, and again with Zebulon, and again a daughter, Dinah. Verse 22, Rachel finally conceived, and she had Joseph, which I can see why his favorite wife been waiting all these years to have a child, and he finally did have Joseph. Chapter 35. Chapter 35, verse 16 through 19. She was pregnant by Benjamin, and then she died giving birth. Chapter 37, verse 3, Jacob, now named Israel, loved Joseph more than all of his children and made him a coat. Even though Benjamin was a child of Rachel, I can see how he may have not been the favorite, because Rachel, which was Jacob's favorite wife, she died giving birth to him. So I can see how the dad subconsciously don't really favor him too much, unfortunately. Verse 4, his brothers noticed the love and hated him. Verse 5, after Joseph shared his dream, they hated him even more. Verse 11, dream number 2, the brothers envied even more. Verse 18, they conspired to slay him and cast him into a pit and tell Israel, their father, Jacob. A beast ate him, but Reuben changed the plan to just cast him out. So the older brother had to step in like, y'all tripping. So they took his coat and threw it in the pit, and without water or nothing else, they realized some Ishmaelites were coming, and Judah decided to sell him to them without Reuben being present. They used the goat blood and still told Israel he died by an animal. So there's levels to jealousy. Reuben clearly, the scripture did say all of his brothers was jealous of him. I think probably the oldest and the youngest, Benjamin and Reuben, had the least jealousy. For one, Reuben was probably still a baby, and then Benjamin was probably still a baby, and Reuben was older and mature, versus his brothers, who had a whole different level of jealousy, that they were down for killing their own brother. Crazy. So that story, we know it turned out, in favor of Joseph, because the Most High was on his side. He was there for a reason, for a cause. His dreams was absolutely real. So yeah, it turned out on his behalf. So my next example is Judah and Ephraim. Isaiah chapter 11 verse 13. The envy of Ephraim shall depart, and adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. So the point of me pointing this out is, again, this whole video is about jealousy, envious spirits. People who harbor jealousy, envious spirits, more than likely is not going to be jealous and envious towards one person. It is their character. So they're going to harbor that spirit. So they were not just jealous of Joseph. They literally was jealous of each other. So Ephraim and Judah had this, ongoing jealousy, envious thing, where, even the Most High had to intervene. Murders in more modern times of jealous and envious spirits. Jada Thompson, that was the most, recent story I heard of. Thankfully, the sister actually survived. But someone named Jada Thomas, she is a singer, I think Houston based, who was shot by someone while signing autographs after a concert. So this is the person who was shot, and this is the person who shot her. Thankfully, the woman survived. There's mixed stories about it, but for the most part, the belief is more towards the other woman was jealous of her.
The woman arrested for shooting a singer after a concert this weekend has admitted to the crime.
Yeah, they say that she watched the entire performance, then got an autograph in line after the concert. That's where she opened fire. Fox Sports' Peyton Yeager live in Dallas with the story. Peyton.
Heather, and the latest update that I have on the victim, Jada Thomas, is that she did receive surgery today. She's surrounded by friends and family at a Dallas hospital, and the only way that she can really communicate right now is thumbs up or thumbs down or writing on a piece of paper. But I am told she is progressing in her recovery.
She's bright, she's talented, she's courageous, she's resilient, and she's strong. And she asked me last night, she said, will I be able to sing again? I said, better.
Don't give up on me yet.
26-year-old singer Jada Arnell Thomas is now barely able to communicate, just out of surgery Monday evening. Thomas was shot in the chest while signing autographs following a performance Saturday evening at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters in downtown Dallas. Police say the shooter, 26-year-old Micah Williams, was just feet away from Thomas in the autograph line. Close to 200 people were inside the concert hall. Multiple witnesses told police they saw Williams shoot Thomas and then take off.
I said, I feel angry, I feel violated.
Curtis King, the founder and president of the Black Academy of Arts and Letters, chased after Williams on foot to the Thompson Hotel off Ackerd.
I went into a state of emotional rage where everything kind of was blurry. And I went out the door and I said, where did the lady go? And so they pointed in the direction where she went and I saw her through the glass doors. So I just started running after her.
Officers arrested Williams in the lobby of the Thompson Hotel. A handgun was located inside Williams' purse. According to an arrest warrant affidavit Fox 4 obtained on Monday, Williams admitted to the shooting. Williams also claimed the victim harassed her last year. However, Fox 4 hasn't been able to verify that claim. Investigators are still unable to interview the victim since she's in the hospital. King says once he saw Williams' mug, he recognized her from more than a decade ago, but is still waiting for investigators to release a motive.
And they said, Mr. King, she's performing at the Black Academy. So she was in one of the summer programs probably like 10, 12 years ago. I'm not going to allow people to have me to walk in fear, to come to a place that I absolutely have enjoyed.
Shanquella Robinson, we all know in 2022 that story was horribly viral. What happened in Mexico. Went on a trip with a group of 6 friends. I'm gonna let this play.
25-year-old Shanquella Robinson, who in October went on a trip to Cabo, Mexico with 6 of her friends, never came home alive. Her friends said she died due to alcohol poisoning, but her death certificate said she died from a severe spinal cord and blunt force neck injury. Days later, a disturbing video came out showing one of the friends, in quotes, beating Shanquella in the hotel room. Take a look for yourself.
Okay, alright.
Good look, can you at least fight back?
No. What's your
At least something. At least fight back, something.
Get up, bro, get up.
You know, as disturbing as this scene is, the guy videoing it with his phone, I think may be the most disgusting. I don't know what's happening in the rest, but obviously Shanquella isn't drinking herself to death. This is supposed to be her friend, this jackass guy behaving like that. 5 months later, no one's been arrested, and the family has taken its case to the White House. That guy and the other ones are back to living their normal life. Joining me now is national civil rights activist John C. Barnett, who has been helping the family, and retired FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer, who's been following this case from the start. Jen, it's great to see you. Look, the obvious problem here is that it's not in the United States. Okay, we don't do things perfectly here, but clearly this is not an alcohol poisoning based on what we just saw, unless there's some chain of events after this where it was alcohol poisoning. Do we know where the video is in proximity to when we believe Shanquella died?
Yeah, the video is basically contemporaneous from the standpoint it is very soon after that that officials are called and that she's rendered unconscious and actually, of course, dies from these wounds.
I mean, this is obviously a homicide, right?
It's a homicide. I would call it for sure a manslaughter would be the charges I'd be looking at as an FBI agent here. We don't know whether really the intent or purpose was to kill her, but certainly the intent and purpose was to beat her.
Well, right. I mean, look, homicide just means death by person. Could be manslaughter, could be intentional, could be the whole range. Now, the Mexico component. Before I bring John into the conversation, what is the suspicion here that they're not known for their quick and thorough criminal investigations of their own citizens, let alone foreign ones?
Well, the good news here is she's actually been charged, and it happened fairly quickly. The issue is not the charge. The issue is the extradition. How can she be now extradited back to Mexico to face these charges? This is something that the United States really does not like to do. It takes working with the State Department to have this happen, and we want our citizens tried and charged here. And that's why we have crimes that we can charge under 18 U.S.C., in this example, 1112, which would be the manslaughter charge federally. And we have accessory and aiding and abetting charges so that our citizens are actually charged here with such crimes, even though they're committed abroad.
All right, so that's the investigative side of this. The humane side of this, John, is tell the audience why you've been organizing around this with others to get justice for Shanquella.
Yeah, 138, and thank you for having us on your show, Chris. 138 days ago, this young lady was killed on film. There's a lot of killings that happen across the country, and they're not on film. For 3 months, she was trending, and then it stopped. And my good friend and co-organizer, mine, Mario Black, said, John, I got a message that said she's not trending anymore. And so I said, hey, let's send some pink envelopes to President Biden's office, and let's send some to Mexico. And then that sparked a movement of Attorney Benjamin Crump getting on board last week in Washington, D.C. My sister, Tamika Mallory, and other activists and attorneys.
What are pink, why pink envelopes?
Because I learned from a wise activist that you need to be loud and dramatic.
And I think it's very important to show the relationship between the attackers and her early on.
I also think, John, I could be wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. But I want to hear from you what the theory of people who know Shanquella believe happened down there. But I'm also a little suspicious that the Secretary of State, his office, the president, they're a little shy on Mexico right now. They're getting beat up at the border. It's a nightmare political issue for the administration. They got the cartels, that are just destroying us with fentanyl. And they're a little shy on Mexico right now. They haven't been very muscular with that president or with state-to-state relations. So you're dealing with that. But what do you believe? What's the theory of why Shanquella was killed?
Jealousy. She probably, if not, was the #1 hairstylist. I think that what I've been hearing is that she paid for the trip for some of her friends. So what you're looking at is like a Jesus and Judas situation. Some jealous friends. She paid for the majority of the trip, from my understanding. She booked the villa, and she wanted her 6 friends to go and celebrate with her. And so it just ended up very tragically. So it was just extreme jealousy. I mean, look at the rage in the young lady that's fighting her. Something built that up for her to fight her and beat her like that. And the break her, neck and spine is just it's horrific. And then for it to be on film. And mind you, my visual of it is that it's early in the morning, and she's in the bed, and she's naked, Chris.
And again, like I said, this is very important to me because exactly what happened to that woman, like, not every beautiful person is the mean girl. A lot of beautiful women, have good hearts. Unfortunately, we're not judged in that way because people like to try to judge a book by its cover and think just because you're beautiful, you feel entitled or you're a mean girl. Selena Perez. We all know the story of Selena the fan who became her assistant or whatever it was to get close to her just to kill her. People sick. There's this book called Friends Who Kill Friends, the story of 7 convicted of murder over jealousy, love, lust, and dares. Another scenario, I kind of looked through the story a little bit, but I'm not in depth. But in 2014, the Isla Vista killings by Elliot Rodger, he killed 6 people, injured 14 people by firearm stabbing, car ramming, just went on a rampage near a University of Cali, the UCSB, University of Cali's Santa Barbara. Then he killed himself because he envied women who rejected him, people who with romantic lives, people more attractive, and people richer and more popular than him. It's too much. Yeah, like, so for people who wonder why I cut people off so quickly, I ain't got time, baby. I come from New Orleans, and I've heard many stories of people who slept in the same bed with somebody, called them their brother, grew up with them, or sister, loved them, was best friends, and, you know, end up, you know, for the most part, for the men, end up killing their own, you know, best friend, or women who end up, you know, sleeping with their man. Like, I've had experiences with friends who try to steal my man, and it happened. But yeah, like, oh, luckily my man at the time was like, girl, bye. But signs of jealous and envious person. So I have learned to take heed of the comments and facial gestures that people make. Body language, all of that will tell it all. Comments like, everybody ain't able. I think that is the classic, most common comment I probably got. Everybody ain't able. Everybody ain't able, or everybody ain't fortunate. Or the there's different because I say a lot, but there's different when you get that with a stank face and body language, like So I literally had a sister in this way of life. I had on my Prada shoes one time, and she was like, "Is that Balenciaga?" And I was like, "No, it's Prada." And she was like, Not followed by, "Oh, I like it. Oh, it's cute." No, just Another time, same person. I had a drink. I'm gonna put it here. You know, I like to feed my body. This is my own personal preference. I ain't trying to shit on nobody. On a day-to-day, since growing up, because I was raised this way, ain't no new trend that I'm just learning. My father was literally a health freak. So I feed my body certain things. Like, so I had this fancy ass drink during Sabbath, during break. I shared it. Like, you know, I'm new. Like I say, the generous, nice, you know, I bring my stuff, and I'm like, the idea, me coming into this way of life, I'm thinking, you know, we all supposed to be holy, righteous, sharing, love, kind, humility, hospitality. And so the nastiness I got from this is just from my drink was crazy. Wow. Like, what? She was like, she made that same little but with a giggle and laugh. Like, first of all, what are you laughing at? Because you don't know what this is? You ain't nowhere near this level to even know what this is. Like, you think this funny? Like, girl, this is a $1 drink. And I, like, in her mind, she probably think, because this wasn't the first time somebody laughed at something expensive that I had. But first period was funny. Like, sometimes people try to like belittle you for their other friends and clique to get on board of not liking you too. But I want people to keep in mind, who's going through things like this, to realize it's not you. It's the lack thereof from them. It's their insecurities, because she knows she could never afford this, or she knows she could never dress the way I dress, because even the things that I have has nothing to do with the amount of money I have. Like, I'm a nurse now, but before I even became a nurse, when I was in high school, college when I was struggling still, even if I'm shopping at Rainbow, I'm gonna pick out certain things that's not going to look a certain way. So I can still shop at Rainbow today and look like I came from Saks Fifth Avenue. I can still shop at the dollar store for food, but I'm gonna read my ingredients and make sure it's healthy. It's not, a bunch of food coloring and this and the other and that. So because I take my time to be specific and caring about what I put into my body, it bothers you. It don't matter if I got $5 or $500. It's still gonna be on the same plane of my mindset. It's about a mindset. And that's what I mean by characteristics. Like, people don't judge the characteristics of people. What are your values, your priorities, your, morals? Once you pinpoint that about a person, it don't matter if they got $5 or $5 million. Like, they got a million. They got a lot of people. Look at these celebrities. All these celebrities that's millionaires, but still trifling. Like, it's the mindset. But anyways, okay, I'm going on a rampage. So usually those facial expressions followed by a those comments or verbal gestures followed by a vicious facial expression or body gesture, the jokes that don't sit right. Remember, 50% of a joke is true. I heard this from a comedian. I can't remember who. 50% of a joke is true. And I believe that, because most of the time somebody telling a joke is true. Even comedians, like, they telling a joke about family members, their experiences, something they've been through, marriage, whatever. But they just put it in a joking form. They may throw a little, extra in there, here and there to make it more funny, but for the most part, 50% of it is true. Another major thing that I've always gone through, lack of support. I can't tell you how many times I've had people, the lack of support, child. I literally had someone tell me, "Hey, ho, hey, I liked your picture." And I'm like, no, you didn't. So you like my stuff, but you wouldn't give me the support to like it. Nothing irritates me more than someone who is following me but can't support. Now, for a hater, and for those who may be watching, it make you want to watch more and not support. Yeah, I know. But I also know, for me, I'm taking notes, because it lets me know that you are a hater. for you to like and watch and monitor as a monitoring entity, a monitoring spirit, for you to continuously watch me but can't click a simple like button, can't make a simple comment. That's something free. Where I have things that you can like literally support, you can buy my art, but let's say you don't got the money to do that. Let's just say you know, I can understand that. But to share my page, to comment, that is free. To like, that is free. To repost, that is free. For you to actually be continuously watching it, you clearly like it. So it's not like it's trash. It's just that in your mind, it will eat you up to see me actually succeed. But the same person who made it wear the same things that I wear, but because they're more popular, they're a celebrity or whatever, you know, you're gonna like them. I didn't see so much shit. Like, I didn't see these what do you call it, reality TV stars wearing like the same clothes I might have, you know, have the same things that I have, that same people that I know, I see them like it, but one had like mine. Hater. Do not let people make you feel like you're tripping, you're taking things out of context, you're looking too into things that is very much so clear. Pay attention to comments, gestures, facial expressions, or the love they give someone who's more popular or a celebrity, that you're doing the same thing, but they won't support you. Or even comments of, I've gotten this so much in life, I wish X, Y, and Z. So I've had people tell me, I wish I was an artist, I wish I was a nurse, but I don't like blood, or I can't draw. And then I may not even paid attention to that at the time, but then later on our relationship just didn't work. And when you think back at it, and the things that occurred, and the little comments that they did make in between, or the things, you know, they may have made, you know, Lord, a million things. It's just so much. But yeah, if they literally, a lot of times haters will show their own face. They will tell you, it will show. But then they will try to make it seem like, I've even had someone who literally tried to mimic me, try to tell me, oh, because she was more popular than I was. Like, you know, I am a more quiet, preserved person, but I, for the most part, typically attract popular people or people with money. And so she used that to her advantage. And she was like, well, who are you? Why would, you know, and try to make it seem like because she was more popular, how dare her want to mimic me. However, will always make comments that were suspicious to me, or do things that like mimicked me, like wanted the same man, make comments like, oh, we just alike, or, you know, just weird. Maybe I'll bring up that later on if a story relates, but let me move on. The lack of support, their expressions of their desires that you have but they don't. So I mentioned that already, like, you know, wanting to be what you are but they can't do it. Or even like I've had a sister try to make it like she was just you know, so into her health, you know, and every time I, you know, may talk about the things I eat, she relate what she feed her child as well, which, like I said, I think that's a beautiful thing. But there's a difference. You can tell when someone is not actually really into that on a daily, or genuinely trying to change their lifestyle, and they just like trying to keep up, like trying to present themselves like they on that type of time. That's a difference. Or even I've had a coworker, like she literally was trying to change her life, and I, you know, presented to her like, oh, you know, I've, you know, even my expertise, like I'm a med surg nurse 7 years, but even before that, I come from a father who raised me to be healthy, like, so this is not new to me. Like, I'm not, you know, just doing this for a trend, like, and I want to share this with the world. I want to share this with people. This is why, you know, even my cooking videos, like, I don't really want to get strung up on making cooking videos just because there's millions of people out there, especially since COVID. Everybody became the top chef, so everybody making cooking videos. You can find macaroni videos everywhere, like regular basic foods that people make in their house day to day. It's all over the internet. Like, that's not what my videos about. My purpose is to show how to eat healthier, but eat healthier, delicious, tasteful. So I shared with her, like, okay, you trying to, you know, make better meals, you should follow my page. Never did. And there was other things, like, I'm not gonna ever think a specific thing, like whether it's this topic or something else, or cutting somebody off. Like, people, don't get me wrong, I do not like make my judgments based on one thing. It's always going to be a multitude of things, more than likely more than 3 things, a multitude of things on a person that make me come to my conclusion, no matter what it is. A man being down low, Lord forbid, whatever. I don't ever have one thing that makes me feel how I feel. So let's make that clear. Your neglect. So mostly the opposite sex, because don't get me wrong, the opposite sex can be jealous towards as well. And not just jealous because you have another man. Jealous because you are something, like you are literally special. So there's men who might feel like, you know, that intimidation. I guess that's a good way I can put it. When a man is intimidated by a woman, he get a little jealous. You know, a woman who can hold her own, a woman not only who can hold her own financially, but a woman who can hold her own academically, intelligently. Like a man, I've noticed a lot of women, well, let me not do that because I'm not trying to play on women, but a lot of men who feel some type of way or feel intimidated by a woman is men who, like, it eats them alive that a woman can think, can feel, can trust her intuition. So it's like it turned into, and I'm saying jealousy just like everybody else use that term, but envious is the real term. You know, it turns into, you know, this hatred, even more so actually. It turns into this hatred towards her, this resentment towards her, because it's like, I want to choke the shit out of you because I can't control you because you're too smart. Like, that's literally a thing. It's really a thing. A man who would feel envious and hate a woman because they cannot persuade and manipulate her, like a woman who even like trying to give a man a chance, like, I want to work with you, I want to, you know, build with you and hold you up and help you grow and become this beautiful king. But in his little mind, you know, he's not healed or not ready to heal, so he's going to take it out on you. However, on another example, if you neglect a man but he remain being your friend, so that's one or two. Wait, 1, 2, or 3. 1, you neglect him, he remain being your friend, but he can absolutely just get over it. He got enough of other women, he ain't got time to be feeling no type of way, but he just like you as a person, and so he remain being friends. That's probably extremely rare. Like, I've never met a friend like that. No, I'm lying. I've met, but I wasn't friends with them. It was a distance. It was just, we was, you know, still cool. And they were older guys, and you know, they had their families, marriages, they moved on, whatever. 2, ones who you neglect as a mate, and they remain friends, but they remain friends hoping that maybe one day you change your mind, and either that change your mind, if you never do, may turn into, or even if you know, they still hoping that you do, it's still gonna be that inner feeling with them that when you get in relationships and it don't work, and they feel like, aha. I've had that, and it don't feel good. It feel like, 1, you're waiting for me and my relationships to fail, and for 2, you may sabotage me and my relationships. So who's to say? I've had a friend who was cool with guys that I was dealing with, and I personally felt like one guy, he literally told him things that he know that guy would turn that guy off, and then 2, he tried to get cool with someone I was dealing with. You know, I don't know where it would have landed, because me and that person didn't end up, but it was weird. And even when me and that person broke up, that made me even more so be like, yeah, me and him can't be friends, because the energy that I've got after me and him broke up was more so like the aha, like, yeah, good for you. And so I was just like, you know, that type of male friend, you know, us females, we feel like, okay, I love a male friend because we could go to them for advice. Like, no, he ain't gonna give you the right advice. Like, girl, he's not gonna give you the right advice. If he's that type, if he wanted you and you neglected him, what makes you think he wants to see you happy with somebody else? Now, I'm not saying that's 100%. Like I say, you know, very rarely he may just get over it, but it kind of shows. Like, if he is a man who can get a, you know, the person he want, a baddie, or you know, whatever he consider, but if he's not 100% satisfied with who he have, and he rather somebody like you, he's not gonna be 100% happy with who you end up with. Like, the third. So the third example was, I forgot. Let's just keep it at them 2. Draw back for absolute no reason. So I've had this a few times. So people didn't draw back. Usually I do cut people off. So don't get me wrong. I give them the benefit of the doubt. If I was supposed to be cut off because of something I did, hey, I respect that. However, I have no problem. If I cut somebody off, they want to know why I cut you off, I'm going to tell you. Because go heal. Go fix yourself. So typically, if someone draw back from me, I'm going to ask you why. I want to make sure, did I do something wrong? Did I offend you? Did I say something wrong? I know I'm candid. I know I'm a blunt person. I know, I say things straightforward that may be a little insensitive. If you don't have thick skin, the truth hurts. So I do want to know if someone just randomly stopped talking to me. I typically do come and ask, did I do something? Did I say something that was offensive? Not once. Every time I ask somebody, what did I do? Not once have I got someone to tell me you X, Y, and Z. The only person that told me about myself, not out of anger, because I've had someone, now you want to find something for you can say to justify, but not out of anger. Family members, my mother literally said, yes, I'm a bitch. And that's why people don't like me. But I mean, I know truth hurts. Could I say it better? I try sometimes, possibly, but that's also why I typically just stick to myself, because I'm not about to always sugarcoat the truth to spare someone's feelings. Like, you need to hear the truth. And if you are a person who don't want to grow and become a better person, I'm not about to live this dumb fairy tale world in toxicity. Even if it's passive or aggressive toxicity, I'm not going to live in toxicity just because someone don't want to hear the truth. If the truth going to make you better, I'm all about bettering self. So we don't match at the end of the day, and that's okay. But if someone draw back for a completely no reason after you ask them what you did, more than likely, from my experiences, that's when I kind of think back. Like, okay, they don't want to tell me what happened, so let me think back. Let me think back at our whole relationship and what happened. And then that's when you're going to find your memory remembering the little comments that I mentioned earlier. The little, everybody ain't able, and I wish I this, that, and the other, or the looks. Like, you will be amazed how many times you might catch somebody looking at you. Don't ignore them looks. I can't remember how many times I got those stares, and when you look back, they turn their head. Like I say, there's a difference. There's an admiration, and I love it. You're beautiful. I'll give you compliment. I love it. Admiration stare versus the stare, the hater stare. So once they don't have no explanation of why they stopped talking to you, or their explanation is bullshit, their explanation is, oh, I've been busy in life, but you find that they talking to all the other friends, bullshit. Start remembering all of the little things that you probably ignored because y'all were besties at the time, or that was your man at the time, or whatever. The bullying. So the hater mean girl bullying, definitely a sign of jealousy, envy, admiration, again, to monitor and study someone, followed by mimicking and getting close to them, and then the resentment. So it's funny, I had this written way before I made the Paloma videos, but yes, Sunday mentioned that this is the cycle of jealousy. When someone they admire you. So admiration is the first stage. That's a beautiful stage. There's nothing wrong with someone admiring someone. So there's two ways that admiration can go. You admire someone, and either you are inspired by them and use that as motivation for your own life, your own lane, your own dreams, and whatever. and then y'all feed off of each other, you know, because y'all both have dreams and aspirations in something, versus the admiration that turns into, now I want to do what you do. So let me make an example, a scenario. Let's say somebody admire me. Let's make two different of the same. Somebody admire me because I am a nurse, and they also want to be a nurse, and they also want to be a labor and delivery nurse, right? They love babies, love pregnant moms, and this is what they want to do. Beautiful. So they want to befriend me because that's what they want to do. And they want to be around. They say if you want to be something, you hang around people who you want to be like. Beautiful, right? So somebody end up going to school, they both end up going to school, becoming a labor and delivery nurse. And the person A is the non-hater, or not envious person. They end up, they graduate, they become a labor and delivery nurse, and within their journey, they accelerate everything that they always dreamed of. So in their mind, they always knew they wanted to do this. They always wanted to become a labor and delivery nurse and be specific type of labor and delivery nurse and accomplish their dreams. And so they do that. They only use you for a little push, spark of motivation, inspiration. Versus person B, they did it. They became a labor and delivery nurse, but they wanted everything just like you. So they end up getting the same type of degree you had. They end up doing med surg first, because I did med surg first, and so then they did med surg for a year, and they became labor and delivery. Then on labor and delivery, they became labor and delivery. They end up, you know, starting a vlog on being a labor and delivery nurse. Started their YouTube, doing vlogging. They end up, just doing a whole lot of, some things y'all don't know, so I'm not gonna specify things like in my house or things that I do as a nurse. But if they're becoming was inspired by me and like kind of mentored under me as a nurse, then they would know what I did as a nurse. So they literally followed those things to a T, right? Versus the other person A, they took your advice, but they customized it to them. They wasn't really strung out on like being obsessed with being you. They just got motivated by that. Versus the other person literally mimicked everything you did. And so then for that person, as soon as something went wrong, versus compared to your journey, what you told them your journey was, if they failed it, if they didn't succeed, then they would become angry and envious and start resenting, like, okay, I did everything you told me to do. Why isn't it working for me? Now I'm resenting you. Now I'm jealous. Now I want to sabotage your beautiful world that you think is so beautiful, because it's really not, because it didn't work for me. So why is it working for you? So now they want to figure out a way and use their energy, their envious energy, to sabotage you. Like, that's what I mean by there's a difference between admiration that turns into enviousness, into envy. Envy is dangerous. Admiration is beautiful. If someone want to be exactly like you, that's weird. Something is mentally wrong. Versus finding someone who doing what they want to do and being motivated. Targets. People who have stuff going on for themselves. People whose futures are bright. Chosen people. People who are favored. And people who have a light. Popular people. Beautiful people. Are typically the type of people that get envy and hate. Envy, jealousy, and hate. There's no purpose really. But the result of envy and hate is tearing somebody down. So like I say, that person will want to tear that person down, destroy them. They want to make sure you don't succeed or prosper by sabotaging you, slandering your name, turning others against you. I cannot, child. Whew. Yes, the bandwagon is real. So when somebody is envious and hate you, are jealous, they definitely want to get their circle or their group of friends or whatever. This has worked. This has happened to me in the workplace. This has happened to me in the spiritual community of Israelites. One person or two people may be envious and they go, whispering things, to their friends, to their colleagues, to their sisters about me that may not be true, and turning them against me, making them look at me in a different light, or even may be true, but the way they presenting it, they present it in a nasty way. So one of the major things that I've always experienced is she thinks she's better than other people. Whoo, child, I'm gonna need a sip for this one. First of all, I ain't never say I'm better than nobody. Nobody. I ain't never said I was better than nobody. But when somebody else feel like that towards you, you can't tell them that you don't feel like that. Like, well, thank you, I guess, for feeling like I'm better than you. But don't make that a thing. I ain't never say that. So now that you think I'm better than y'all or you're gonna make it seem like to everybody else I am snobbish, or I'm I think, for someone to think they're better than somebody else, that is like you trying to belittle other people, where that may more than likely don't be the case about that person, but the way you're presenting it to them, oh, she's I didn't heard that you condescending, this, that, and other. How? Like, because I'm an honest person, because I'm not a liar, because I'm literally interested in following God's commandments, you're trying to find the worst words instead of you saying, oh, she's a real sister, like she really trying to follow this way of life. Instead of saying that, you're gonna say, oh, she thinks she better than other people. She thinks she holier than thou. I heard that. She thinks she holier than thou. She's condescending. I'm just trying to follow the word for real. But again, it's that attitude of how dare you be cute? How dare you actually have money? How dare you actually be righteous? oh, you think you holier than thou. You think you better than other people. Where really, I never say that or express that at all. At all. Like literally, I've sat on couches. I may have sat like this, but I've sat on couches where they had roaches crawling in the bed. No, I would sleep on someone's couch. I've literally slept on couches where I had a whole $2,000 bed with two $50 pillows and one $100 pillow on it, and then other pillows. I got 7 pillows in my bed. No, I do not feel like I'm better than nobody. I feed homeless, be in their midst, talk to them, laugh with them, and treat them like a peer, because I want them to feel like you are just as good as I am. I don't feel like that, but because you feel like that, because you know who you are, you're going to spray that to your whole little crew, so your whole little crew could jump on the bandwagon of hate. So, to my beautiful hearted sisters, keep that in mind. When, first you might get along with people, the next thing you know, you start noticing things getting weirder and weirder and weirder. This could be at work, like I say, the worship home, and who knows, even your family. Once you start realizing that one giving these, signs, then now the whole crew, and now they all hate you. They done jumped on the bandwagon. Now you got a whole hated bandwagon. And the reason I'm pointing these things out, because these things can drain us, make us feel so horrible and so shitty. But we have to know what it is for our knowledge, so it won't get to us. Because if you genuinely, don't get me wrong, they do have mean girls, but if you are genuinely a good person, this shit can really eat you alive. Like, why this, why I can't keep friends, why this and the other. And then people might make you feel like, I've had a sister feel like, oh, maybe it's it can't be me if I didn't ask people what did I do and there's no explanation. And I know for a fact I only gave love and kindness. It ain't me, it's your haters. Most people in the world are not good. There's a very few people who are. So you are that good person, and you can't lie to yourself. You may be that person who needs to work on yourself. But if you are that person that you got a good heart, don't let these spiritual vampires tear you down, and don't let these envious and jealous spirits tear you down. Pinpoint the characteristics and traits of this. Figure it out so that you can be able to maneuver through life, through this wicked world, the shadows of death, and still prosper and know how to maneuver with these people. But child, I knew this topic was too damn long, so my camera is about to give out. Let me take a pause. I'm gonna go dance a little bit, sip on my drink, and I'll be back. I left off at they specifically don't have a purpose, but as a result of being a jealous, envious spirit, you're going to want to tear someone down, destroy somebody, or distract them from their goals. A jealous, envious spirit is going to make sure you don't succeed or prosper. Or even if they do show some support, sometimes it may be mild support. They won't want you to get on their same level or pass you up. Some of the things they may do to tear you down, destroy you, distract you, they will sabotage you, slander you, turn others against you, steal from you, so you won't have joy or material or physical or mate or something. It will get to the point sometimes where familiar spirits lies or come into connection with this is sometimes they would try to get into the spiritual realm, the world, the spiritual world, and utilize that to lock you down, or whatever. But we know there's, when it gets to the topic of jealousy in relationships, it is about not wanting that person to be with somebody else. So whether that's a female that may do that or a male that may try to put a spell on a woman, we also have to be careful of that, because that is very common. That is definitely a thing. I never respected that even when I was into that world. And that's what I mean about character. Like, a character of a person, no matter what new information they know or have learned to grow, their character is still the same. And with knowing that, I understand why the Most High chose Abraham, Moses. Just want to take all your time. Some people, that's their thing. Like, that will come with, being a spiritual vampire. But some spiritual vampires are jealous and envious. So, kind of notice that too when you like dealing with people. If they just want all your time, even if it doesn't even make sense. Like, you gonna know when you gonna know. Cast spells. So again, if they're tapping into witchcraft or whatever people may do, or to what I consider the ultimate level, get a hitman or murder their self, and then lesser but still relevant fight. This may be with women even more so, but they have some women who may literally kill. The story of Shaquana, what happened with her, insane. With Selena, insane. Like, and I'm sure a gazillion other stories, unfortunately, but that happens since the beginning, as we've seen. Cain and Abel, then Esau wanting to, but thankfully he didn't. My first day, oh baby, you would always see. Okay, just about how horrible and bad, dangerous, envious spirits is. So Proverbs chapter 6 verse 34, for jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he'll not spare in the day of vengeance. Chapter 10 verse 12, hatred stirred up stripes, but love coveted all sins. Chapter 14 verse 30, a sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy rottenness of the bones. Chapter 31 verse 46, he coveted greedily all the day long, but the righteous give it and spare not. Chapter 27 verse 4, wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Not me. Commandments against jealousy, envy, hate, and coveting. Exodus 20 verse 17. Do not covet thy neighbor's wife, house, man or maid servant, ox, ass, or anything, because it can lead to sin. Jealousy, hatred, envy. Don't covet. That's why we should not be coveting. What they got. Even if they got more than you, you don't know what they going through in a daily life to get where they are. If you're not willing to do that, authentically meant off of your purpose in life, appreciate the blessing and structure and foundation the Most High gave you to be as a support and contributor of Earth, this world, society, this nation. So Exodus, do not covet. Okay, because these can list to sin. Covet house. If you covet somebody's house, you may want to end up robbing them, stealing them. Not saying everybody, like this don't apply to everyone, but on a more extreme, someone wanting what somebody else has, they're going to want to rob them, steal them. If someone coveting someone's wife, they're going to want to commit adultery. Someone coveting someone's possessions, again, robbing, stealing. Someone coveting leads to envy, wanting what someone else has. And it also, on a lesser form, can lead to slandering or false witnesses, just one that goes into the wanting to sabotage someone. So Leviticus 19 verse 17, do not hate thy brother or sister in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer in sin upon him. Verse 18, do not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Most High. Deuteronomy 21 verse 15, if a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, verse 16, then it shall be, when he maketh his son of the hated the firstborn, verse 17, but he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for his firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he had, for he is the beginning of his strength. The right of his firstborn is his. So these are commandments that the Most High put in place, I believe, to keep people in order of jealousy, envy, hate, and coveting. I do feel like because he mentioned this a few times or made it very clear, or even in the beginning, the first 10, it is natural for humans to, kind of look at what somebody else have and, favor it, especially if it's beautiful. Like, it's admiring, it's beautiful, it's, likable, it's lovable. Like, we love to see good things, we love to see love, we love to see light, right? So when we see that, yes, we're going to gravitate into that, but we have to be able to know how to keep that in order, in line of completely admiration. So, the general feeling of jealousy or envy that people may get can be pulled quickly if we get it in check. I don't know how a full-bodied spirit of that what the fight may be, but even if I can't relate to specifically that fight, I can relate to the fight that I have, that even though it is a fight, it's possible if you put your mind to it and you really want to change. So if that's something you have to work on, I also hope and pray that it's something you could work on in your inner self. Because I'm not saying I don't pray for that to get out of me, because naturally we all have it in us. So we have to put ourselves in check and be real with ourselves as human beings. We know who we are, but we want to lie to ourselves to the point that we believe it because we want everybody else to believe it. Like, that's never going to be true healing. You got to be real with yourself with who you are and pinpoint your things you have to correct to truly heal. So yeah. Commandments against jealousy. Leviticus 18 verse 17. Do not uncover a woman and her daughter's nakedness. Okay, so these are commandments the Most High, these are commandments I say against jealousy, because again, it seems like, the Most High made the commandments as our rules for our good health and wealth and well-being and civilization and all of that good stuff, right? So if you do these things, then it will definitely omit or prevent unnecessary ill will against brethren and sisters. So Leviticus 18:17, do not uncover a woman in her daughter's nakedness. Verse 18, do not uncover two sisters to vex her. Most is about incest and adultery, but these two can cause jealousy. Numbers chapter 5 verse 14, and the spirit of jealousy came upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled, or if not. So they gave the protocol. They had to do a whole little ritual of whatever to find out if the woman was a cheater or not. Some magical stuff that we lost ability to do. But a woman who think it's cool to make her husband jealous, I've always felt like that was wrong. Like, I had a friend one time who used to even lie to dudes she was talking to, telling them that making it seem like she might be going on a date with another dude or something like that. And I never understood that. Like, why would you want to purposely make the dude that you interested in jealous? Maybe that works for people who play games. Me, as a person who don't play games, I don't be having time for all that. Anyways, versus men who try to make their wife jealous. So vice versa, and by sleeping with their sister and mom and daughter. So the most I've actually had friends who have slept with sisters and mothers and the whole family, like crazy. Okay, scriptures against jealous, envious spirits. The Most High tells us not to envy. Proverbs chapter 24 verse 1, be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. Chapter 23 17 and 18, let not thy heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Most High all day long. For surely there's an end, and thy expectation should not be cut off. Solutions and prayers against haters. First thing I always do typically is stay away. I definitely would cut someone off. I just don't be having time to like trying to figure people out, especially after they show themselves to me a few times. It's like, what more? What more can I have to say? So stay away. But if you, sometimes in situations you cannot stay away, especially if someone's like, you know, close to some, you know, certain family, close to that family, but they got those family members they don't really fool with. If you're going to family events and stuff like that, they're going to be there. Some people in their worship homes, you know, if you go into a worship home, you're going to deal with those certain people. Or your workplace, you go into your workplace, you gotta make, you know, your money. Some people you're just gonna have to deal with. So do not share nothing about you to them. Observe people, keep it surface until they truly prove themselves to you. Observe their values, their morals, their integrity. Even if they, you know, if you're a spiritual person, if they have a connection to a higher being. If you find yourself envious against anything that glitters and gold, take a pause. Everyone has their own journey. Appreciate. Period. I also have, don't fall for the okie doke. So this is people who want to pull you on that bandwagon. Do not allow somebody else to pull you on the bandwagon. Like, if you like somebody, stop. Like, so many, a lot of people are followers, so I have to understand why some people hop on the bandwagon so quickly. But have your own mind. If you like somebody, don't let somebody else manipulate you to not like them because you want to ignore the fact that you don't see it, because you might have a little bit in it. Like, you might have that little bit that you could easily pull in. Yeah. But since you want to take the wrong end on the spectrum of that, instead of pulling it back to checking yourself, you go ahead on with the hater club, hopping on that bandwagon. Now you didn't bump yourself up to even a worse type person. Like, you was regular, you had the normal amount, or maybe a little bit more of the normal, because for it to be that easy for you to sway that way, you had little issues too. But let's keep it here. You still had chances of being able to control it, but instead you went to left instead of the right way. But and then I have Psalms 23, 25, 35. That's for a sabotaging hater. 28, 41 for a frenemy. 55 for the apps. 37. I hope I made this video as simple or not as possible, and you will catch me on my vlogs.
Never be friends with those type of people. Don't be friends with them. Don't bring them into your home. Don't tell them nothing personal about you. Say hi and bye. Once you see somebody is affected by the spirit of envy, and it's a feeling, it's a spirit, it's something that's inside of them. Now, let me make this clear. Everybody Envy and jealousy is a natural human emotion. Everybody suffers from jealousy and envy, even me. You understand? But let me tell you something. You have to know how to control those emotions. You understand? Any real person is gonna tell you that's a natural human emotion that everybody feels, but you gotta know how to control those emotions. Some people have it a little, but some people are full of envy. They're full of envy and jealousy, not towards me in particular, but if that's their nature, that's who they are. You understand? They're jealous towards other women. Envious, jealous women. And they're looking you up and down. Secret. They're faking like they're your friend, child, to get close to you. Looking you up and down. They hate you. Envy you. They hate and envy you inside. Whether they envy your lifestyle, your personality, your looks, whatever it is, they envy you. And when they envy you, they will sabotage you. Let me talk about what they could be jealous of, right? So a lot of times jealousy comes from people that's closest to you. And it's a competition now. That's basically what it is. They could be jealous of your looks. They could be jealous of your career. They could be jealous of your relationship. Haters are everywhere. They could be at work. They could be at school. They could be at church. They could be in your family. They could be walking down the street. Just randomly don't like you. They're not happy with themselves. They see you have a nice body and they're looking at you like they're mad. You know, they're envious spirit type of females. And one thing about me, I've never followed the crowd. I'm not intimidated. I could be by myself. I'm used to that. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, I don't like you. And I was like, and I stood there straight face. I don't like you either. And then continue to do what I'm doing. Everybody got silent. Everybody in the room got silent at my reaction. You know why they got silent at my reaction? They got silent at my reaction because they thought that I wanted to be a part of the crowd. I'm like, oh, why you don't like me? You don't like yourself. How you don't like anybody else? You're insecure. You're not happy. Anyway, a lot of them, they're not happy with themselves, so they're projecting. That's the same one crying, talking about, I don't like my body. I don't feel pretty. All of a sudden, you don't like me because I work hard, exercise, and take care of myself. That's the main thing. When they see you looking good and they're pretending to be your friend, pretending to be close to you, I know it happens to a lot of naive women. A lot of naive, they allow these fake friends to come around them. Women know what they're doing. They're spiteful, vindictive, and envious. A lot of emotions is attached to that feeling. You see somebody's envious, and they don't have to be particularly envious towards you. When they're treating other women in an envious way, listen to these people. And this one person was spewing so much envy towards another woman, and I heard it. I was like, this is not somebody I want to be associated with. The way the envy that she was spewing towards another woman, I was like, Jesus, they're full of envy. That's their spirit. It's not in respects to you or anybody else. They're envious people. That's who they are. Some women are envy. They're full of envious. They're envious. They're full of envy, and that's a dangerous emotion. They will sabotage. And I'm saying it a lot because you got to be careful of these types. These are the types to try to tell a lie on you, get you fired, do anything to break up your relationship. They are savages.